Hi, welcome to Design It with Tammie Gibbs. I'm Tammie and I'm pretty excited about this video today. I'm going to be working inside Artistly's advanced editor or advanced designer. I don't haven't done a lot in the advanced AI image designer, but it's there and a lot of people don't even know it's there. They don't understand it because they always go and see me go under the fast. So anyway, we're going to pop in here and I'm going to just be playing around with some things, some capabilities. So I'm going to do a really quick overview of this particular section, excuse me, tongue tied this morning inside of Artistly. So we have a similar look if you're familiar at all with Canva. Then you're going to notice some similarities with maybe not the layout exactly, but having a toolbar down the side, having your canvas here to work with. A lot of the icons are similar, but these do different things. So inside this particular designer, everything works a little differently. So these are the tips that I have for you if you're going to work inside Artistly's advanced designer. Okay, you're doing one image at a time, but it is fairly quick. So it's not a bad thing, but I'm going to be telling you along the way just my tips with working with it. Otherwise, you're going to be very frustrated at times. So, all right. The number one thing you need to know is when you create inside the advanced, you're going to want to, if this is an image that you want to keep, you're going to want to go up to here to export, and you're going to want to go ahead and download that right away. Because what's going to happen is the file structure here is much harder to deal with than even in Fast. And I'm not unfairly, criticizing. It is what it is, and the developers will change it when they have a chance to. They've been giving us lots of features. They've been busy as far as producing and all of that sort of thing. I believe that they have an outstanding product and they're delivering so many different ways that we can create. So I'm not faulting them. I'm just saying we have to work with what we have for right now, and we can send them our recommendations. But for now, you want to do that, because if you do not do that, then it is going to be so hard for you to keep up with it. Now, another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this is my archive here. So I'll just go into it. This is mine. Well, is it mine? No. Okay. So let me go back. I need to be in the right one because they've done these things so different. Let me find the right version here. Okay. This is mine. The commercial version is different, but this one is mine. Okay. So we don't really have this part here for the advanced. If you go back in here, when we go over here, all we're going to have is the prompt, and this is how we get to it. So watch. Once it populates and I've saved it, then I will go over here and I will copy the prompt. I'll go back to, let me get out of that one. There we go. So I'll come here and I will Let's make this bigger so I can see. Okay. So what I will do is I'm going to paste it into my prompt keeper. We know how I just do that. And then I'm going to show you that you really just can't. It says copy image. Okay, so we're going to try it. It was not working for me. It doesn't work. Well, it doesn't really work. So it's a blank. So that doesn't work for this. So we're going to drag this off. But we've already saved it, so we are probably going to have to just upload it and put it in. Okay, so I uploaded that one, and so I will drag it there. Okay, so the way I'm kind of doing this is if I do not have this spot here, I'm going to know it's advanced. Now, excuse me, I am so sorry. If you want to, you can take that spot, and you could always, add some text here and just say advanced. I probably wouldn't bother to do that. I would just know that that one came from advanced if I don't have this structure here, but you could do it that way. Okay, so let's get back in there. Okay, so images that come into here are going to have this little eye right here. This is how you get back to your prompt. And it's going to seem like you're going way around the world to get anywhere. But once, if you're creating and you get in kind of a I guess a strategy as far as design wise goes, you get into a flow, then it's going to be okay. So you have to go down here to add your folders. So if you wanted to move this one into a folder, then what you would do, and you can go to AI generate and it's going to take you there. And then you can say move, and you can put it into whichever folder. I'm going to put it in the demo florals. And then we can see it put it there. Okay. You're going to want to keep folders. You're going to want to also keep not like hundreds in those folders, or else it's going to be very hard to go through them. So here, this is how you go through the actual media file. You have to, there's not one up here where you can go next. It's just very bundlesome. It's just not really great for that. Now, these are actually images. They do not have the little eye, which means they were edited in some way that they don't have the prompt with them. So that could be any number of things. It could have been brought in from one of the other, from the fast side, and used to edit it somehow over here. So you don't have access to those. You're only going to have access to the ones you create that way. Okay, so let's go back to our beginning here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, now that's the number one thing, that if you don't get it right away, especially if you're following along with me and you're inside advanced and you're making images while we're talking, I wanted you to know that up front. So be sure and save it and save your prompt so you don't have to hunt back through all of those many files and images to get anywhere. So up here is a template thing. This is where it's like social media templates, or you can kind of it's really social media templates. Now thumbnails, Let's go. These are your thumbnails here, like for YouTube, and then it has the social media ones. So there's really not, I mean, I guess you could say real estate and see if it pulls up anything. It really, I haven't found where that's real helpful. Scrolling through is kind of what you want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of show you how that works. Confirm. Okay, save changes. Okay. So this is how this works. Now you can go in and you can change pretty much like you can with Canva. It's just a very watered down kind of version. Like for instance, if you see that this background has the little box or circular curved box here, you can't get rid of that. But you could get rid of all this and keep the writing, or you could do away with the writing and you could, move it around or whatever. So you can do all those things. You can change the size of it. But also you can generate an image from that because it does give you a prompt. So if you don't like the way that looks, you can get another one. But now what happens with that is that's not editable, not as it is. Now, how would you edit that then? So if you go to this text editor, you can grab the text, which, this doesn't make any sense. So you would have to go back in and you would have to pretty much grab the text and then you could use it that way. Some of you may use this feature. I just take things into Canva. I do use some of these for like some simple things or, that sort of quick things just so if I don't want to go into Canva. So this is how that would work. You would select it here on this side and then you could change it. And you can change the font, however you want it. You can go back into the text thing. You can grab them, the ones that all of the text that way. So that's kind of how quickly, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because this isn't usually the type of thing, but I wanted you to know that was there. Okay, so this again is the media file and everything. It's where all your images are stored inside. This is the text. So let's just say we want to add a text, a heading or a subheading or a paragraph. You could do that. So you could even start from scratch with just a plain, and then add a heading. You've got all your shadow settings and stuff. So, I mean, you do have some tools that you can use. You have like for, let's see, the background is somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. I don't see the background, but anyway, there's typically I thought there was a background, but apparently there's not, like where you choose your background color. Anyway, so you can add text, and up here here's where I was saying. So you can add text by clicking here, and this is what I wanted to show you. But then here is where you can grab text out of an image. So let's just see let me show you how that could be helpful. So let me see about going in and uploading an image, and let me find Okay, I'll just use my thumbnail from one of my videos. And I'm going to import that in. Okay, so I'm just going to make it fit here because it wasn't in the right. Okay, so if we were to go into text editor, we could grab the text. Let me just show you how that works. So you don't have to necessarily, if you need that feature, even through, like if you've got something you created in Canva and you just really need to, let's just say it was just this sign here, that was all you were dealing with, but this, it was an image you created, Canva or wherever, Artistly, wherever you created it from, but this was all gobbledygook and you wanted it to say something special. Then this is very handy. See, you've got, let's see, you can see where it made it, where it was, where you could move it around. You can try change what it says. So, it can come in handy. It really can. Okay, so let's go out of that. Let's get all this off. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this one. Okay, all right. So that's what those things do. This is the product influencer. I don't use this a lot, but it's where you can actually add things. Like if you want to add a necklace, I really just don't use this enough to really demonstrate it because I just don't use it. So down here you have your AI designer. This is where you're going to be prompting. And you have the image generator. You can select the aspect ratio that you want to create in. So we could do this. You have a mirror magic in this section. So, like I said, you can. This is where you're going to create. You also have, and I'm going to have to do one to show you. Let me go back here and grab the prompt for this one. I was doing it with the AI artist playbook before I started the video. So I've got that one. We can go back here. I'm going to paste it in. And then you can see it pops up where you've got that magic prompt. And you also have the edit prompt with AI magic wand there too that you can use. So we're just going to this is the prompt that goes with this one. And we're just going to play around with it for a few minutes and kind of see. Now, you get different looks with, now see, I'm liking this particular style. It's got a pretty watercolor look. It has the elements with the veins and the petal detail and everything. So, and again, this is one of those where you want to go ahead and download it. And then we've already got I had already saved this particular prompt, so nothing has changed. So I wouldn't, have to do that again. But if we want to generate another one that would kind of go in that same family, then we could do it. We've got pretty autumn looking colors here. Kind of go along with each other. And it doesn't take long. They populate fairly quickly. Just do a few of them to show you the speed and everything. One thing you don't want to do is you do not want to delete this while this is churning out because it's not going to work well for you. So we're going to do a PNG there. And then I'm going to show you. So if we have this and we could regenerate it or generate another image. But if we delete this, we can't be deleting while this is generating. Let me show you what I mean. It's generating, and if we delete this, well, I'm wrong. I guess it works that way sometimes. Sometimes it will literally block you out of it and it will not let you do anything. So I'm going to delete all these off. It's better if you do them along as you're going, but I wanted you to see how it stacks on top of each other before I deleted them, because if you don't know that and you're doing the same aspect ratio, you're going to end up with a lot of different things on top of those. So anyway, okay, so now let's see, let's go in and let's change it up a little bit. So let's change it to a muted palette and see what it does. We're going to change this here. Paste it there and then regenerate. So I'm not crazy about that one. I'm not even going to download it. That's a little bit more usable one, but I would do more. It takes more time. Um, it's just a totally different feel and look. It's not as fast paced as obviously the fast designer is. But now if you keep going, you can get some really pretty images because this is very pretty. So I would export that one. And as you see, in the same way that under fast, when I tell you that changing the aspect ratio will give you a good variety of different images, because the interpretation has more, like, see, this one gave us a good corner element that would go with that pack. We'll get this. Okay, there we go. Yeah, see, we can get good images that way. Okay, so let's try this one and see what it gives us. Now that one, Artistly has had some hiccups in the last little bit. They're doing a lot in the background, and so some of the images are coming out blurry. Now see, this is actually very pretty. I like it. I like the colors. Let's go back in and let's try another. Let's do the dark moody and see what it comes up with. Just to give you some variations to look at. Okay, so we're going to do dark. So dark and moody. Do another one. I'm going to go over here and have the florals. Let's try a trailing bouquet. That's pretty. Okay. So we're going to try to change it up now from a cascading bouquet to a trailing bouquet. And just see what it comes up with. That's pretty neat. I like that shape. Okay. So, and if you wanted just one, this says navy blue, deep plum, and rich burgundy. You could always just, we can back it back to just the deep plum. So that it is the same, all the same colors rather than having them mixed. So it opens up some new possibilities for you. Let's go into some other palettes. Let's try the champagne, like soft pastel, and do champagne. That one's pretty. Okay. So I'm going to see if we can get some champagne colored roses. They're pretty. There we go. That's gorgeous. So again, when you're creating, don't forget about how you can, and now I am going to, this one I really like the color and everything, so I'm going to take it and put it in my prompt keeper. And I'm going to upload this one. It's a little, I would rather use the copy and paste, but I have not figured out how to do that. Let's try one thing. Let's try seeing if we can do it from perhaps use image. Wonder if it would let me do it from there. I don't think it will. Oh, it does. Okay, so that's what you need to do. You need to copy it from here instead of here. Don't do it from there. So if you go over here, let's just try it with this one. Use image, it's here. Do the copy image from there, and hopefully it'll work. Yes. Okay, so that's how you do that. So you can do it faster as well. So, and then let's see. Let's go back in here just because I did that one. That was the same prompt, so we're not going to worry about the prompt on that one. But yay, we figured it out. That's awesome. Okay, so now you know how to use the designer. And then here are shapes, like if you were just going to be building something. Here you have a setting where you can resize the workspace. Now, so you can resize your workspace here. Like, let's just do this So this is, oh, it has to be 1920 by 1920. Okay, so let's do that. 1920 by 1920. It says it's the largest it can be. But see, it did give us a bigger workspace. So now we've changed our canvas and workspace. So how does that affect us now if we change that? We'll just get these all cleared off. That's why it's better to do them along and along as you go. But anyway, so let's figure out what that means. Let's go back in here and grab this prompt again. Go over here. Okay. So we have the bigger. So let's see if it makes any difference at all. I want to see if it generates this, but generates it in a smaller. Ooh, that's pretty. Oh, okay. So it is bigger. So now let's export this and see what size it actually exports it into, because that's going to be what's makes a difference, really. Okay. So let's go here to our downloads. Okay, so this was the 896. This one is 1024 by 1024 full. So even though I told it to do 1926 by 1926, this one is still downloaded at that 1024 by 1024. Let's go back down here. I think I did some that were square, and 1024 by 1024, 886 kilobytes. So the only thing I see that changes, well, let's see, this one has 748 kilobytes. And this one has 886. So may have been the colors that were used, and these are lighter, so it's not taking up as much. I'm not really sure. But the canvas is definitely bigger than just your standard is. But it does not really affect your downloads or anything like that. It just makes it bigger for you to see bigger. So you don't have to enlarge it or anything as much, I guess. Okay. So shapes, settings, like I said, this will actually, interesting. 1928 by 1928. Resize. Canvas dimensions, what does it say? Okay. Let me go out and come back in. I got it all out of whack. Let's see. Okay, let's also try this. Okay, so custom, let's do, this is another place that it says you can create from. I'm going to go in here and copy this. Let's go into here and see if it actually, it is set there. So you didn't have to go in and do it because we set it up. Okay. So now let's go in here. And I still don't believe it's going to make any difference with the actual output. I think all it does is change the size of the workspace here. Let's export this one. I'll give it another shot. And again, 1024 by 1024. So it has no effect on that. So if your eyesight's bad and you want to make it the biggest that you can, then that's fine. But it's not going to have any effect on the way you do things. Okay, so that's basically how those things work. Now, this is a custom consistent character. Okay, so I'll go over here and I'll just try to find a character. Let's see, princesses. Okay, let's just say this one. We'll use this image. And we're going to do the consistent character. Waving. We'll just say the princess should be waving. Some of you, if you haven't been in here, didn't even realize that this had a consistent character feature. Now, I think the one in Fast has been refined more than this one. Haven't used this one in a while, but it is there. And I just want you to know what all these tools do. Okay. So we did get a princess waving. So that's how you can use that. Okay, so upscaler. So it also has an upscale. Now, if you had a photograph, you could do an improve human photos. But if we want to just only upscale, we can upscale it. Within the advanced designer. To me, this is a much slower process than either using Pixel Cut or using the bulk actions. So we can export it though. And we can go in. It's upscaled. Let's see what it ended up being. So it's still 96 DPI, but it's 32-bit, and it is a higher quality than it would have been. But this doesn't do your DPI, so that all have to go under. If you wanted to upscale and increase DPI, you'd have to do it under the fast and the bulk actions. Okay, so this is a stylizer. So let's just say this is going to be our reference image, and we want to create, in this same style, we want to create a royal horse standing in front of a castle, but we want this same style. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so yeah, you have to actually select another file. So upload an image to style the selected image with. Okay, so this way we want to style this image with this in this style. I don't think this is going to work because I think it's going to get confused. I wanted those colors and everything, but it may change it up and it be stupid. But we'll see. Yeah. See, it did something funky here because we should have done it with, let's go back in and I will do that differently. Okay. So let's look at the babies. Okay. Use image. We're going to use this baby and we're going to stylize. And we're going to stylize using, let's see, select a file, drop a file here, click to select a file. Okay, so let's see if I can go back and choose this one and see what we get. If we could stylize this baby in that style, that would be pretty awesome. I also, as you can tell, do not use this feature a lot. I have used it, but just not a lot. Mostly now I'm using the human stylizer inside Fast because it's really cool to use. But in advanced, it would be really cool if this worked because you could pull in and style some of, they are really cute, but sometimes maybe they won't be quite as the water, it doesn't treat the watercolor and stuff. Oh my goodness. Now that worked great. That's adorable. Now, too many toes, but I would go back in and do that. But this is a whole new style all in of itself. So to me, that is a win-win-win. Eyes are closed. However, still very, very cool. So let's see. See, now this one does not give us, because it was edited, it does not give us, there's no prompt there. So let's go back in. Let's do it again. And I'm going to give it a direction to give it open eyes. So we're going to go back into the stylizer. We're going to go over here. We're going to go into the Highland Girls or whatever. We'll pick this one. Well, now that one doesn't have their eyes opened either, so maybe I need to go back and get one that their eyes are open. Let's do this one. Okay, and then we want to go to Stylizer. We want to say baby with open eyes. Okay, and then we want to stylize from the same image down here that I had. This one, which is so cute. It's a great stylizing image, I think, even though its hands were kind of messed up. These hands are kind of weird looking too, so maybe it'll fix the hands. The only thing that I can see as really an issue is this is kind of time consuming because, I would say it's great if you're just doing something maybe for one. Now, see, the baby's eyes aren't open there. That one to me didn't do quite as well as the other one did. And these toes, but I'll work on that. I think we could all work on within that to find the uses for it. Like, for instance, we may just want to eliminate the baby and then use that to style. I know a lot of times we want some florals. Sorry about that. We want some florals that match our Clipart sets. But anyway, so that kind of shows you somewhere you can play with. Okay, this is something that I've never really used. This is a replace your background. So basically you can put the baby in the desert or wherever I don't use that um, because it's photorealistic backgrounds, and I don't really care for. I don't have an application for it right now. It'll be great if I have an application for it in the future, but right now with what I'm doing, it's just not. It's not a feature that I'm using a lot. We already discussed that this was the where you grab the text. This is an object remover. When we get through, I'll show you the object remover. It's kind of finicky. It works sometimes for just a real quick little thing. Okay, so I'm going to go backwards because it cut me off, and let me show you what I did. Okay, so we were right in the middle of me trying to do the object remover. We're going to try removing this. I was saying that this is sort of finicky and it works. I think it's gotten a little bit better, but my recording platform that I use to do my recordings cuts me off ever so often, and that's why I'll have to come back sometimes when it's sort of jagged and I can't edit through properly. But that's what happened. I got cut off and had to get everything all queued back up and start over. So that actually worked pretty good. Let's try it again and see if we can get, let's just say right here. Oops, let's see. Mark the error, remove again. Well, it did that. So if we wanted to remove the bow, let's just say, let's try removing the bow off the baby's head. Just to give it a workout. So here's some workarounds. If you have trouble with, unless you just have to have bare feet, if you have trouble with feet and toes, workaround is design or do your images so that they're wearing shoes. Okay, as far as hands and fingers, a lot of times I will try to have them on their hips or, holding something, or if I have some that are goofs, then I'll go back in and I'll put flowers in front of them or something like that. So sometimes you can salvage otherwise good images. Okay, so we took the bow off. So that is working a lot better. I'm just going to admit that it's working a lot better than it was. So that's the object remover. This is Merch Magic. This is where you can I don't use it a lot, but like if you're doing, I think some different types of merchandise, you can go in and select different things. All of that. Okay, so we're going to go to Smart Expand, and let's just say we want to do this and resize it. So this is also a feature I have used, the resize, because a lot of the ones that, let's say, that are cut off over in one of your other designers, you have an image and it cut like the bottom off. You a lot of times you can see it changed it, and it did a really good job. So that's a good, cool feature. This is just cropping it. You have to crop from this window though. So if you wanted to pull it in a little bit, you could crop it. That's always a handy thing to do. So it crops it, and then you have to okay. This is a remove background. So we can remove the background now. And again, these are slower than other ones. Sometimes they don't do quite as good as this one. Actually cut pretty good. But you never know when you might want to do it. So Okay, so this is a golden beanie. So let's just say I'm going to put, let's see, in painting, select the area you want to modify. Oops, I didn't want to do there. I don't know what I can put here now. I'm just going to put flower. It's going to be crazy because it'll be on our cheap, but this is in painting, so you could add little things. You know, I could have changed the book and put a basket there or something like that. It's always better to have more tools and some tools you don't use than only a few tools, because you may come up with an application later that you can use these things for. To add it to the canvas. Interesting. I don't see where it actually did anything on that one, to be honest with you. It actually put the cheek back, so that's good. Whoops. And this does not work like Canva. You have to actually delete them to get anywhere. Still think that's kind of cute. Okay, so anyway, this is the face swapper. I'm not going to play with that today. This is layers where you can move the different layers front and backwards. I don't use that a lot because I'm normally not designing in here, but you can do it. You can bring forward, you can send it backwards, you can adjust the opacity, you can duplicate. You can duplicate them. All my experimentations. Anyway, so if you want to do a new project, you click there. This is the delete button, of course. So anyway, I wanted to show you a little bit about the, and I'm going to go into here to show you what I was talking about with the duplication. I'm sorry, the mirror magic. Okay, so I'm going to pick out one of these florals in here. Let's see, which one do I want to do? Not those. Most of these, like I said, came from, they weren't even created in here. Okay, so. Okay, so I'm going to try a couple things. So we're going to go with this one. And I'm going to go over here. We're going to do the mirror magic. And I'm going to click on this one. And this is what we want it to generate the prompt. Okay, so it's generated this prompt. I'm going to generate the image, and we're just going to see, you know, kind of how it did. And then the thing about mirror magic is take it further. Okay, so the look of the florals is actually, that's pretty. Let's do it like this because we had it square. So now let's do the same prompt and see if we get more of the layout like we did with the first one, because it was there we go. It was the long one. So see, we did that and it did a pretty good job of interpreting that. So now let's take the playbook, and we've got this basic prompt that we use the mirror magic with, but we want to make it our own. You know, we've got that interpretation, we've got the layout kind of. So let's go back in here. Let's take and do this same pastel-y colors, and let's find the colors where it says alternating red pattern of, and we're going to put those like that. And we're not going to tell it, we're going to take away the colors that are in here. And I think I left an orange one in there, but anyway, I'm just trying to see if it'll mostly change it to our colors. Because this is, there we go. Okay, so we did get one. Now see, I left a little bit of orange in there and didn't take it out, but if I had taken that out. Now, how's another way we could have done that? Let's go over here. See, this does have a prompt. So what we could do is we can go back to this original one, copy it, and then I'm going to tell you an easier way, or it should be easier. We're going to paste this in, and we're going to do this here. So now what we want to do is actually go back in here to the colors we want to change it to. And we're going to say, please change all the colors to use this guidance. And then we're going to let it place the colors where it needs to and hope that we get a similar look as our original design, but with the playbook colors that we wanted to use. There we go. But we're back to that square, and it did. It changed to the pinks and stuff, and that's really pretty. I could see that on planners and stuff like that. But we're going to go back to that 9:16 aspect ratio and do it now. And hopefully it'll give us, there we go. Isn't that pretty? So that gives us almost kind of like a little border effect. Okay, yeah. And so now we've got blush pink, but let's go back in and let's say change the colors to a beautiful champagne. I've misspelled champagne. I thought I had. And we're taking that from the playbook. We're just using the simply using the champagne rather than. And let's see what color combination we get with that. So this process, there we go. We get kind of a champagne. Now, what about if we want to change the color? We want to change the type of flowers here. Okay, so we can go back in here and we can say change the flowers to peonies instead of the other. So it is going to change that prompt, but we're still prompting it as to what we want. So that actually does not look much like peonies. So let me see what it actually put in here. Petals. Okay, peonies. We need to remove the petals because obviously they don't have 5 petals. So it gave us a different kind of flower. So I'm going to put make sure the peonies are botanically correct. I had to think of some wording there. So now let's see if we get our peonies, since we took the 5 petals out and everything. But I do like this. This is a very usable element. There we go. Now we're beginning to get it back in there. Okay. So you can use that, and that was using the mirror effect. So let's just say we want to play with the stylizer. So let's just say we want to go here and we want to go to some of these demo florals. Let's say we want to go to this one, use this image, but we want to stylize it with this image. And let's see what it is. Because I think that would come in handy with like florals that you want to get a particular, you get drilled down on a particular style or look, and maybe you want the layout part, or some older florals to be stylized in that way. So, okay. So, it did okay. It didn't do what I wanted it to do. I think it would be better to use the mirror magic and then just change the prompt on that. It's that stylizer is just not as powerful as the human stylizer inside Fast. But anyway, I think I've shown you lots of new ways to use Artistly, how you can use the playbook, how you can go in and, like I said, use the little magic wand. And I think that this has been a really good tutorial. It's also, it's good for whether you're a beginner or whether you're somebody that's been using it for a long time, but it's never really gone into the advanced to play around and see what you could do. A little bit of prompting, a little bit of troubleshooting, a little bit of just basic overview, and all those things are good and can help you along your way. So I was just curious what it would do if I just put the colors in, if maybe we would get a color wash or a color background or something like that. And it kicked it out, and it really didn't give me anything. Let's try it again. Ah, interesting. Look at that. Now that would be cool for a baby mock-up or something. So you can even take some of my playbook color combinations and just put them in randomly and see what you come up with, because that would be really cute. You could add some little baby booties or whatever. Um, let's try the in painting with this. Select an image. Okay. In painting. Let's put a place baby booties in a matching color. Now I'm just playing around. Ah, it did it. Okay, so you can play around with that. That would be neat. It says regenerate, so you could do something different. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you've learned a little something new and that you can apply it to your business and help you grow and help you do things faster and better, using some of the other features in Artistly. If you don't already have Artistly, my affiliate link is down in the description, along with you're able to use any kind of codes if they have an active code. A lot of times, if there's going to be a code, it'll be at the top that you can type in. It'll tell you what that code is, and you can type it in and save you a little bit of money. It works with my affiliate link. And I do appreciate when people use my link, because it doesn't cost you any more, but it does help to support me and my channel. And it makes it possible for me to continue to make these videos to help you and your businesses grow. The AI Artist Playbook series. The playbooks can be found on Etsy and on Gumroad if you're in the EU, or if you want the junk journal version, then go to Gumroad. Um, the the junk journal version is only available on, or edition is only available on Gumroad, and then the EU can purchase all of my playbooks and everything from Gumroad. On Etsy, there is already, if there is any current sale, then it'll be reflected on Etsy already in the prices. And on Gumroad, they use codes, and so I do have a code down in the description. And depending on when you're watching this video, it may or may not be valid. So uh, I have no way of controlling that. But anyway, um, let's see. Oh, join my Facebook group. Be sure and subscribe to the channel so you get updates for new videos. I would love to hear comments from you and ideas for new, videos you'd like for me to do, or things you're having trouble with. Please leave it in the comments, because I do videos frequently and I run out of ideas if I'm not having people, send me ideas, because I want to do videos that help you. So I would rather do a video on something you want me to do a video on than me just sitting there trying to come up with things. And so I'd really like for you to comment. If you use advanced, or if you really like this video because you were like, I have no clue about advanced and, how to use it or what it's all about, then one thing I forgot to mention was that if you are inside the fast version or the fast designer area, if you click on that little paintbrush to edit, it's going to basically take you into um, the advanced section. So that's another way you get into there. So I hope that helps. But anyway, I hope you all have a great day, and until next time, happy creating.